How are you feeling? How long have you been here?
3 months, May 17th.
And what brought you?
That's difficult to answer.
Some idea.
I am not completely like other people.
What do you mean by that?
People dislike me because I am not completely like them. I am trying to do with my life something which few people try to do, and this influences my thinking and consequently my action.
What is it you're trying to do with your life?
Play the piano for people.
I'm not clear. How is it that playing the piano for people has eventually resulted in your being here in the hospital?
That's difficult to answer.
is the end? There's a noise inside my head of crying people facing death. Is this the end? Is this the end? Oh, I'm burning in the stone. There's no place to hide. I'm burning in the stone. What have we done to the world? What have we done to the world? I'm burning in the stone. There's no place to hide. I'm burning in the stone. This is the final
Well, there is a giant ass noise protest at a hotel tonight. Now he seems to be wandering around in a parking lot. And I don't know if any other live streamers there. Do you guys know of any other live streamers there? IRT's not there. Is BCP there? Is anyone else at the hotel other than BG, our intrepid warrior, who is like literally always on the scene, except he's wandering away from the action? Why the fuck is BG wander? Is he just like casing the joint? Like, listen, I don't want to question BG on the scene. BG on the scene is a professional, and he's very good at his job. So I'm not suggesting I'm questioning him. I'm just saying that, you know, he was right in front of the action, and now he's not in front of the action. Maybe he just needs a break. He's had a busy couple of days. You know what? Like maybe BG just needs a break. We need to allow him that. But if anyone else knows of any other live streamers that are there, please do tell me. I would appreciate. Oh, here we go. Here we go. We're back. We're back. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the dystopian shit show that never ends. Please make sure you have mounted the like button on the way in the door. If you would be so kind, let's get this party started. Hey, thanks so much for the Screw You Leftist fun. I do appreciate that, Naruto. You rock. There's a bunch of people there tonight, guys. I'm going to get Portlandia up so we can see what he's watching. We were just so you guys know, we were literally just on a spy stream with the organization that's doing these noise protests, and they made it very clear the noise protests are going nationwide. They were very clear. I was going to clip it, but then I saw my Rumble. No, the Rumble stream's back up. Rumble stream's back up. It's back up. I forgot to create the stream before I went live, but the Rumble stream should absolutely be up right now. Yes, the Rumble stream is indeed up. Go scramble back to Rumble. It's there. I promise. Anyway, so we absolutely know that these protests are going to go nationwide, which is going to be real fun for us. There's not really much going on Will and Andy's stream. So we'll just stick with BG, I guess, unless anyone else wants to get their ass over there. Yeah, okay, listen, I'm very sorry to burst everyone's bubble. Azra Nomani's a psychopath who has an obviously clear political agenda. I would not listen to anything Azra Nomani has to say or take it with a grain of salt at the very, very, very least. And by the way, Neverroy Singham only funds the Party for Socialism and Liberation at the national level. He does not fund the Sunrise Movement. And the Party for Socialism and Liberation has local chapters that are not funded by him, which I'm sure Azra Nomani didn't tell you because Azra Nomani is a psychopath with a political agenda. You guys always got to be careful when you're showing this stuff. This is why I only use primary source evidence. I promise you, every single conservative influencer will lie to you if you allow them to. Look at the amount of people there. Guys, they've got barricades set up outside this hotel now. Look at, do you guys, let me ask you this. One in the chat if you think that this crowd is going to stay peacefully on the sidewalk all night. Two in the chat if you think they're going to bust through the barricades at some point tonight. One for this crowd is totally going to stay peacefully on the sidewalk. Two in the chat if you think they're probably not going to stay peacefully on the sidewalk. Let me know what you think. I like that BG on the scene has his watermark on the stream now because I clipped him the other day and I actually felt really bad about it because I don't like clipping the live streamers, but it was something that I thought was important for people to see like right in that moment when it happened. So I'm glad that BG on the scene put his watermark on because I actually felt really guilty about clipping him when he didn't have his watermark on because I want to make sure that they're always getting credit. Oh, man, I totally agree with you, Miss C, over on Rumble. Locals and Rumble need to get their shit together. I totally agree. W's at the chat for T-Money, 5 gifted channel memberships. Thanks so much, bro. I really appreciate that. WWW. W's in the chat for Lady. 5 gifted channel memberships from Lady. Really do appreciate that, Lady. That's awesome. Thank you for the membership. Portland Andy's seat above us now. If you guys know of anyone else that is streaming, please do let me know. So far as I can tell, the only person on the ground is BG on the scene because this is what he does and he's a professional. But I don't see anyone else streaming. Apparently, oh, what's going on with that fire? I don't know what's going on with the fire, but there's Portland Andy's got someone with a fire. Anyway, BG is the OG. Yep, he is the OG. Let me put the chat on the screen. What am I doing? There's the chat on the screen if you guys want to see yourself talk. Welcome in, welcome in. Please make sure you have mounted the like button on the way in the door. We're doing a little protest. We're doing a little thing called protest coverage tonight because the noise protests are getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And we just learned on a spy stream less than an hour ago that they are now going nationwide. So I want the streamers. I really hope there are a metric ton of streamers that get their ass in the game and start going out and filming this stuff. God knows it's not going to be me. I'm too old for this shit. I need young like Zoomers to go out and just become live streamers and go all over the country just filming people. I think Waxius, that's a good idea. I'll check Waxius. Waxius is there! W Waxius. Waxius got laid and now he's ready to go, covering another protest. What's the Waxius stuff? No, he's not there yet. Never mind, it's not live. Never mind. False alarm. False alarm. Hey, thanks for the super sticker. I appreciate it. I'm not trying to shit on Cam for not being there. I think Cam is being smart by not going. I also want to make it clear because there seems to be some confusion about this, and the internet rumor mill is going because I am taking credit for my work. People seem to think I'm shitting on Cam Higbee. I have no personal issue. I need to say, I'm not saying you said this, but I'm hearing whispers that the gossip mill on the internet is a running. And I just want to make it crystal clear again for the third fucking time this week. If anyone bothers to watch my other streams, I have no personal issues with Cam Higbee. I think his work on the Signal stuff is mostly good, although he's definitely getting stuff wrong, and he should absolutely not be trusting 0 Hour because that guy's a psychopath that lies all the fucking time. But Cam's going to learn that mistake on his own. I'm not going to shit on him too much for that. I'm just saying that that I have no personal issue with Cam Higbee. I want Cam to be successful. I like that he exposed the Signal groups, but I am going to absolutely say that I've been talking about the Signal groups for at least 6 months prior to this, if not even longer than this. And was one of the first people covering this from the very fucking beginning. And I have information that none of the rest of them have, and none of them are paying attention to it until I put it out on the internet. And if you assholes think I'm not going to take credit for my work because it hurts your feelings, I'm very sorry about that. And if you think I'm not going to point out that I had tried to get this information out there and none of you fucking listened until your golden Zionist boy got it out there. I mean, listen, again, I'm not trying to shit on Cam. I like Cam. But there is a reason that Cam was allowed to go viral and my work was not. And we need to acknowledge that because I was here first, motherfucker. Thank you so much for becoming a member of the YouTube channel. Now, I don't believe in competition when it comes to covering the left, though. I truly, truly don't. I think there's more than enough for everyone. And I think that I want Cam to do this. I want Cam to be successful. And I was one of the first fucking people to comment on Cam's Signal post and say, this is good and good job. And so I just want that to be acknowledged because I'm getting really sick of getting messages from people. Why are you mad at Cam? I'm not mad at Cam. I'm not at all in any way. It has nothing to do with him personally at all. It has to do with the system that hid from the entire fucking conservative right that I have known about these fucking Signal groups for almost a year. I have been talking about this for a year. There is a reason that now they have decided to push that message all of a sudden when they all knew about it already because I was screaming it from the hilltops. And if they weren't listening to me, then why the fuck not? Because all I could do is put out evidence. And if no one listens, I'm sorry, that's a you problem. That's not a me problem. And I'm not going to not take credit for my fucking work just because you guys are having feelings. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, you just got permanently banned from the channel. Oh no, you just got permanently banned from the channel. Bye. See how that works? No, that's absolutely not going to happen. That's absolutely not going to happen. I'm not going to invite Cam onto my stream. I don't do those types of streams. And I'm not going to make nice just because feelings got hurt because I'm taking credit for the work that I've done. People need to put on their fucking big boy pants. And if they don't like that I'm taking credit for the work that I myself have done for years and years and years, they need to ask themselves why. There's not going to be any making nice stream. I have no personal issue with him, which I've said many times. And if that's not good enough, that's how I feel about it. Oh, we have some ignorant retards in the chat tonight. Excuse me, have you ever infiltrated the left? Bitch, please. Bitch, please. Can we educate the retard in my chat? Have I ever infiltrated the left, guys? Have I ever infiltrated the left? Have I ever gone undercover with the left? Have I ever infiltrated literally probably hundreds, almost 1,000 leftist meetings and recorded them and put them out on the internet? Have I ever done that, guys? Wait a second. Wasn't I literally on Fox News not once but twice in the last 6 months for going undercover with Antifa? Am I on fucking glue? Did that not happen? Excuse me, Karlyn, you're just jealous because Cam infiltrated the left and you didn't. Excuse me, what? Where the fuck do you think you are? Grow the fuck up, do some fucking research, and be better next time. Oh, you want to compare? Try my entire fucking YouTube channel. Till you smarten up, you're banned from my chat. Go away. All right, we got a super chat. We got a super chat. Let me see. We got a super chat here from ANS. They just don't want to give you the credit on the right since I'm not a Christian yuppie. Yeah, I mean that's actually partially true. Yeah. I don't fit the image of the typical I'm not a conservative is the thing. I'm just flat out not a conservative. I don't fit the image that the conservative right wants people to have. And therefore, ergo, they never report on my work. They never share my work. They pretend my work doesn't exist. They lift up the people that do have the proper image. And again, Cam has the proper image. Also, Cam is a Zionist that went to Israel to kiss the fucking wall. And again, I personally, I don't have any issue with Cam. I truly, truly don't. He is allowed to be a Zionist if he wants to. I truly do not care. It makes no difference. I've said this from the very beginning. He does good work, and that's literally all that I care about. I like people that are out there working and actually doing shit and going and filming stuff. I've seen that guy work in person. He does a good job. I'm not shitting on him for that, but the fact of the matter is I was reporting on these signal groups for literally fucking months before this, and it's not even Cam that really bothers me. It is the entire conservative right that now pretends that they are experts in the signal groups. Do you guys know how many fucking comments I've been seeing from conservative retards on these signal groups over the past, since Cam reported it, where all of a sudden people who didn't know what the fuck was going on for months and months and months when I was screaming it from the rooftops, recording stuff, going undercover in person, releasing the information over and 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 over again. All of a sudden, everyone else who wasn't paying attention to the shit I've been screaming about for almost a year is an expert on the thing that they literally just discovered exists. And by the way, they don't understand it either. They don't fully understand the scope of this and by the way, Data Republican is out there lying to people. I saw an article in the Gateway Pundit that flat out lied to people. They're there's even Cam has gotten stuff wrong. I'm sorry, Cam, but you've gotten stuff wrong. And so it's like, You know what? Now there is so much fucking misinformation about the fucking signal groups just because every conservative expert suddenly popped up and just discovered it and then started running their mouths about it. And it's like, you know what, assholes? You know what? And I'm not saying that in the good God-fearing Jesus Christ way. I'm saying that in like remove your heads from your fucking asses. And then they're like, Karlyn, I don't know why you need credit for your work. I'm sorry, I have bills to pay, motherfucker. I'm an independent journalist that is funded by normal people. If people don't know about my work because you retards won't talk about it, if people don't know about my work, I cannot do this. This has been a struggle for me for years and years and years and years and years and years to be able to do this. And I've finally gotten to the point where I have enough of an audience where I'm actually kind of like in a comfortable position. I was not comfortable for fucking years. The amount of sacrifices that I have had to make to do what I do every single day for years, you guys have no fucking idea. And so when I have conservative retards saying, I don't know why you need credit for your work, it's really like, okay, conservatives, when are you going to start donating to what I'm doing then? When are you going to start actually paying me? Because do you know that I almost had to quit last year because it was so fucking difficult to make money doing this? And one of the reasons it was so difficult to make money doing this is I had conservative influencers constantly stealing my work to take credit for it. So I couldn't get my name out there. I couldn't get enough support to actually make this financially viable. Do you know, conservative retards that are telling me not to take credit for my work, that I had to eat into my fucking savings for years and years and years and years to be able to do this, to the point where I almost had to quit because it was not financially viable to continue until the riots in June last year, and then it became financially viable to continue. So literally, everyone who thinks that I should just shut the fuck up and go away, go fuck yourselves. I have scrimped, I have struggled, I have done everything required to be able to get to the position that I'm in now, where I am finally, at long last, oh no, you just got permanently banned from the channel. Oh no, bye, asshole. See, that's the thing with conservatives. Conservatives are like, oh my God, you should be working for us for free. At the end of the day, conservatives are a bunch of fucking communists. They're a bunch of conservatives are no better than entitled fucking communists that expect every single thing to be handed to them for free. And even when you do hand it to them for free, they do not fucking appreciate it. So go fuck yourselves, conservatives. No. I'm not going to stop taking credit for my work. You guys can all kiss my fucking copious ass. Thank you, Core. How did these rad leftists here not get charged with disturbing the peace? That's an important question for the cops. It's a great question for the cops. You should ask the cops. Great question for the cops. Hey, Lady Lux, I appreciate it. Having a high IQ in this place can be a real challenge sometime. I don't fit into the mold either. Thank you for your work. Thank you for the $20. I really do appreciate that. It's absolutely amazing to me how many people tell me directly to my face, Karlyn, I don't know why you need to take credit for your work. Because I killed myself to do this, assholes. That's why. Anti-commie, thanks for the super chat. I infiltrated 2 leftist calls in 3 hours tonight. Someone says I've never infiltrated the left 20 minutes later. And I get comments like that. You guys should see the comments in my feed right now. You guys should see them. I have comments up and down. Excuse me, have you ever infiltrated the left? Yes, motherfuckers. I've infiltrated the left more than anyone else on the internet. I've gone undercover with Antifa more than anyone else on the fucking internet. Thank you, dumb phone. I appreciate that. Anyway, I'm going to stop yelling now, but... Yeah, it's not like I need to pay bills or buy fucking food. Exactly. Thank you, Malcolm. Thank you. Hey, thanks, Jay, over on Rumble. Dr. K, fantastic interview with Harrison Smith today. You're an OG, and Harrison is the real deal. I totally agree. I adore Harrison Smith. I hope you guys got a chance to see the interview with Harrison. I haven't had a chance to clip it yet, but I will be clipping it. You want to know why? Because it was a kick-ass interview. Harrison Smith always asks the best questions. He really does. You want to know why? Because Harrison Smith actually gives a fuck. There are so few people like covering this stuff that actually give a fuck. I think Harrison actually does give a fuck. He's one of like maybe people I can count on like one hand that I've talked to that I'm like, holy shit, I get to be interviewed by Harrison today. It's always just so much fun for me to be interviewed by him because Harrison asks the absolute best questions. He asks exactly the questions that I wish every other person would ask. And it's like, you guys got to understand, for years before this, I had to answer the same dumb questions over and over and over again. And I wanted to like beat my head against the wall with how miserable I was. And it sucked. But like, so being interviewed by Harrison Smith is like a pleasure. So I hope you guys get a chance to watch that. I will clip it at some point. Hey, thanks so much for the super chat. Since joining the channel, a few things I didn't know now. One, the leftists aren't LARPing. They are organized. This is a grassroots movement. So true. Karlyn brings the content no other provides. So true. Thank you so much for the super chat. I really do appreciate it. Can you start yelling in German? Yeah, what could possibly go wrong, Johan? What could possibly go wrong? What could possibly go fucking wrong with me yelling on the internet in German? What? I'm already called well, I am a fascist. I embrace being a fascist. But like, do you think should we just take the whole fascist thing to like the next fucking level? Is that the next evolution? Is I have to go learn German? I barely even learned French, bro. You want me to learn fucking German? Let's see. Is that it? Okay, that's all the super chats for right now. Let's tune back into the noise. Chat for the gifted channel memberships. Appreciate it, girl. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks so much. But to be real, I want to say this because I just yelled an awful lot. I want to make sure I'm very clear about this. I don't believe there is competition among people covering the left. Now, practically speaking, that's not true. Like, of course, there's competition. There's always competition to for people's attention, right? But just from like a practical level, there's so much to cover on the left. And so I actually do personally detest that people when I make complaints like I don't get credit for my work, which is just objectively true. Like I want to make it clear. I don't actually feel like I personally am in competition. No, he's not. He's just a restreamer. I feel like I tell you this every time. He's just a restreamer. He's not there on the ground. Let me grab this. Thank you, Mr. It's me Wheels for the super chat. I'm a broke cripple till Friday and still I really do appreciate that. Thank you so much for the $2. But like, here's the thing. There's so much content to cover on the left. I can't cover everything. I can't cover every fucking meeting. I can't cover every single thing that every leftist group is doing. I truly do not believe in competition among journalists who are actually just trying to cover stories. I don't perceive myself to be in competition with Cam Higbee. I really don't. I think he's doing his thing and he's doing a good job. I think I'm doing my thing and I'm doing a good job. And it's just a matter of this ecosystem that we're in, where some people are elevated because they're Zionists and they went to Israel to kiss the wall, and some people are resoundingly suppressed. I get comments in my feed all the time from people who are like, why have I never heard of you? Well, ask your fucking conservative media why you've never heard of me, because I promise you, your conservative media has heard of me. I was on all their fucking shows in 2020. And as long as I was following the approved narrative, they lifted me up and they put me on their shows and they had no problem with it. The second that I deviated from the approved narrative, oh, no, now we're going to pretend she doesn't exist and we're going to block her and we're never going to cover these stories, even if they're important stories, you guys would be shocked, just absolutely shocked at the amount of stories that I have sent to conservative media and the severity of those stories that have never been fucking covered. Like, and this is the part that really pisses me off the most. It is how ridiculously uninformed the conservative right is. Reagan's been on my channel for years. Reagan has seen, like the people who've been on my channel for years have seen this happen over and over and over again, where we uncover literally the most outlandish shit that you have ever seen before. We try to get it to conservative media and they don't fucking cover it. They refuse. Every single time. Well, I've actually said this. I've said, all I need to do is lose 50 pounds and get a boob job and dye my hair blonde. And all of a sudden, it'll start getting covered, because that's the way the conservative right is. Cam Higby fits a mold that I do not fit and that I will never fit. And I don't, like, again, I have no hard feelings towards him. This is not about him. I'm not in competition with him. There's more than enough for Cam Higby to be successful and for me to be successful and for every other person who actually wants to cover the left to be successful. There is more than enough to do. The problem is the conservative establishment that refuses to properly inform their audience. That is the fucking problem, and that is the thing I'm pissed off about. Chad, thanks so much for the super chat. Do you think the Insurrection Act in Minneapolis would solve these protests? At this point, no. Because at this point, it's going to go national. Everything they're doing in Minneapolis is going to go national. And I don't know what Trump can do to stop it anymore. I truly don't. I have no fucking idea. I think if Trump had implemented the Insurrection Act 2 weeks ago when we were all screaming at him to implement the Insurrection Act, then I think things would have been different. But but now Trump is but he dicked around so much. And this is, I said this when I was talking to Harrison today. This is the problem when you ignore something until it is too fucking late. This is the problem with ignoring the far left repeatedly. I mean, again, the far left has been doing these protests for a year. They've been organizing like this for a year. I've been screaming about this for a year. Conservative media has fucking ignored it for a year. And now all of a sudden we've reached a tipping point where I truly don't know if there's any scaling it back. I really don't, guys. I do not know if there is anything scaling it back. Yeah, Kazmar, who has been on my channel for years and has helped me infiltrate more than one leftist meeting, Karlyn has always shared her information. Some have used it without giving her credit. It's her time and effort to uncover what she does. They suck. They do fucking suck. They suck. But you know what, guys? You know what? There is nothing, like, I've got momentum now. My shit is all over the internet. And people might not like me, but that's fine. I don't really care if I'm fucking liked. I care if my work is respected, and I care if my work is seen by a mass number of people to be able to actually demonstrate what the problem is. And we've reached a tipping point on this channel as well, where I now have enough viewers and enough people supporting my work that if it stays on the trajectory that it's at, if my channel just stays level now with where it's at, we're going to do pretty fucking well. If the channel keeps growing and the audience keeps growing and you guys dig in and you start getting serious about helping me share this information out, this stuff is going to explode all over the fucking internet, and there's nothing that they can do about it. There's literally nothing that they can do about it. So, I won, losers. You lost. All right, let's tune back into the noise. Daniel! Thanks for becoming a member of the channel, Daniel. I really appreciate it. Welcome to the cult, bro. Welcome to the cult. Hey, did you guys know? We are about to cross 3,000 channel memberships. Because of all of the gifts that you guys have been giving of channel memberships, the channel membership gifts are so helpful. The channel membership gifts that you guys are making, it's so helpful in supporting my work. I can't even tell you. We are about to cross 3,000 channel members. And that's awesome. So thank you guys for doing that. That's awesome. I mean, I have 130,000 subscribers to the channel. There's 750 people watching right now, so it's kind of like the channel memberships are the luck of the draw, guys. Like, make sure your account is set to receive channel memberships, but the channel memberships are truly luck of the draw. It's kind of like, so if we get 100 channel memberships on a stream, I have 700 people watching right now. You know, not everyone's going to get a channel membership, but the more people who give out channel memberships, the more memberships people are going to get. Let's do W's in the chat for Sean. 5 gifted channel memberships. Thank you. W's in the chat for James. 10 gifted channel memberships. You guys rock. You guys are the best. We got Erica in with the 5 gifted channel memberships. W, Erica, in the chat. Really do appreciate it. Guys, can someone who knows how to set up an account to receive channel memberships, can you share in the chat how to do that? Because I don't know how to do that. I just know there's a setting you have to have on your account to be able to actually receive a channel membership. Yeah, you guys want to see something interesting? Mizakan put this in the chat. This is back in the day when the Babylon Bee actually gave me credit for my work, and then James Lindsay tweeted at the Babylon Bee that they should take away credit to my work because he doesn't like me. So this is literally the type of shit that I had to deal with for years. I literally had someone with 500,000 followers tweeting at a major publication just because they gave me credit for my work that they really shouldn't give me credit for my work, and they should just take that out. This is the type of bullshit that I had to fight against for years. Thank you! Thank you for the super chat! Appreciate it! Hey, what do you got written here? Karlyn, I stumbled across you a few weeks ago when I was searching what the fuck was happening in my city and subscribed within an hour of watching, now so obsessively checking it daily. Thank you so much. Thank you for subscribing. I'm really sorry about what's going on in your city. I don't know if you've heard me talk about this. Like, personally, like, Minneapolis is actually one of my favorite cities. I fucking love Minneapolis. And I haven't been in years since everything apparently like went to shit. But like I used to have to travel to Minneapolis like you know, fairly often, and I love it there. I love the food there. I love that it's a walking city. It's just got like a cool vibe. It's got good public transportation. It's got great beer. And it's really disappointing to me. Like I don't know if Hell's Kitchen is still there. Hell's Kitchen is one of my favorite places to get breakfast, like ever. I don't know if they're still around, but they definitely were before the pandemic. And so the fact that I actually remember that tells you how much I appreciated it. So Minneapolis used to be awesome, and now it's a leftist hellhole. Uh-oh, look at that. They're going to take down the barricade. Uh-oh. Hang on. We got a question, and then we got a super chat from Malcolm. I'll do the super chat first. Thanks, Malcolm. I voted for Reagan in 1980 and 84. Both elections were landslides except for Minnesota. They are and probably always will be far left. That's because I've talked about this before, but just for people who are new, Minnesota is the birthplace of modern day Antifa in the United States. That is where the movement that evolved into modern day Antifa began in the 80s. And so Minneapolis specifically has always been extremely far left. There's also this Midwest kind of like corridor thing where a lot of leftist activism has breeded in the Midwest in like the 80s and the 90s and stuff like that. And again, I'm not talking about Germany. I'm talking about the modern day incarnation of Antifa was in Minneapolis in 1986 and evolved into what it is today. So that's why all the crazy shit comes from Minneapolis. Are there any paid protesters, or is that it's a myth? It's a myth. Like maybe so it's like, what do you consider to be a paid protester? Do you consider a paid protester to be someone who works for a political organization, has a legitimate job at a political organization? I mean, that's called having a fucking job. Like, you can't say the left doesn't have jobs and that they're paid protesters. No, they do have jobs. The left has so many political organizations where this is their full-time job. It is a fucking job. It's a 40+ hour a week job. But even beyond that, it's like what conservatives do is they basically, every time you see one of those stupid Craigslist ads where people are like, $15 an hour and pizza if you show up in protest, that's all fake. That's not real. It's not real at all. It's like those are things that conservatives place to have clickbait content for the internet, but it's absolutely not real. These are not paid protesters. I mean, if I had to like do an estimate, what percent are actually paid protesters? If I'm being generous, 1%. They're not paid protesters, guys. These are ideologues. These are college kids. These are kids from the University of Minnesota, for the most part. They have been indoctrinated into this ideology since they were 5 years old. They have been taught this since they were 5 years old, some of them even earlier than that. You have to understand, they believe this to their core. This whole paid protester thing is truly and sincerely one of the most dangerous lies that conservative media tells about this. Because if you think they're all paid protesters and they don't even really know what they're doing, it's very easy to not take them seriously. But this is serious. This is going to get dangerous. This is going to be exported out to every major city in the country, including in red states. And I don't know how Trump stops it. I truly don't. Like, this, they lit the spark that could become their revolution, and it's fucking January, and they're already causing this much chaos. So all of the conservative bullshit is about to come back and bite them in the ass rather severely. Hey, thank you, Gayla, for becoming a member of the channel. I remember you. That's a familiar face. Welcome back. Good to see ya. Yeah. Yeah, this is a great point. Don't they view protesting as a duty? Yes, they do. They do. They believe they are fighting the righteous cause. They believe they are standing up against the evil oppressors that are literally making us all slaves. They believe the entire world are slaves, guys. They believe that we will all literally die if capitalism is not overthrown. That's not an exaggeration. We actually watched a documentary. What was it? Maybe 3-4 months ago, we watched a documentary on Socialism Saturday that was literally about the idea that if we don't overthrow capitalism, everyone is going to literally die because capitalism creates climate change. You can't stop climate change without overthrowing capitalism. So and by the way, the climate change stuff is directly related to the ICE stuff because it's all about capitalism. So yeah, they will do whatever it takes. They believe that everyone they love is going to literally die if they don't do this. It's a cult. It is a cult. No. Stop fucking coping. Stop coping. Stop coping. It was on an episode of Socialism Saturday. Maybe someone in the chat remembers it, but it was a documentary. It was like an environmental activism documentary. I could probably find it if I went back and looked, but I'm not going to do that right now. You can find it by going through the Socialism Saturdays archive. But also, literally, if you just listen to any environmental justice, it may have been Peter G's. If you just listen to any environmental justice presentation, they will say literally, capitalism is killing us. They say it all the time. It's not even in that one documentary. They say it like all the time. No, you can't have a rent check, Gary. The only interaction that I've ever had indirectly with Steve Bannon is that, what was it? Was it his daughter? Who like his daughter produces his show? Like, what's her name? Maureen, I think. What the fuck was it? I was invited on his show. His daughter, who I think is his producer, invited me on his show. I think it was after I went undercover at the Socialism Conference. And she invited me on and she was very nice. And then when I tried to actually, like, get back to her, She never responded. And so it was one of those things where, like, I'm kind of like, why did she reach out to invite me on the show? And I agreed and everything seemed to be fine. And then I kept, do you want to schedule the interview? Do you want to schedule the interview? And she just never responded. She just totally ghosted me. And so that might not be a reflection on Steve Bannon, but that's literally the only kind of semblance of an interaction that I've ever had with Steve Bannon. I don't listen to Steve Bannon, and I don't listen to any content creators. So I'm not trying to shit on Steve Bannon. I just literally don't listen to any content creators. I listen to the left and that's it. And so like that always bothered me. I was like, what happened? And why did they reach out to me and everything seemed fine? And then you go to actually try to, like, you know, follow up and you just get completely ghosted. I felt really I like there's almost nothing that you can do that will annoy me more than just fucking ghosting me and being silent. There's almost nothing you can do. And so like I view like ghosting people and silence as basically like the ultimate thing of like spitting in my face. It's just rude. It's rude, it's inconsiderate, it's unnecessary. If you didn't want to book me on your show, then why the fuck did you even reach out in the first place? And it's like, you know, so I don't know. I guess I'm kind of like neutral on Steve Bannon. I don't have an opinion either way. I will say I did like the speech that Steve Bannon made at Turning Point USA. That speech was fucking awesome. So, I mean, W for that. When Master Shake says something, I generally listen to him. This group has a tactical doc link signal embedded in crime thing. Is that the one that Reagan sent me? Reagan, is that Wide Awake guide that you sent me on the spy stream? Is that the same thing? Hang on. Is this the one that you're thinking of, Master Shake? I just popped it in the chat. Same one? Yeah. He got it. So I'll put the link on Rumble too, but this is their tactical document for doing these types of protests. I'll put that on Rumble too if you guys want to see that. And I'm going to be publishing this on the Substack. I got a couple things from this group I need to publish on the Substack. Yep, 10 p.m. is coming. Will anything happen? What do you guys think? There's a fuck ton of people there tonight. Hang on, what do you have to say? Let me see. Dr. You guys can just call me Karlyn. You don't have to call me doctor. The only people who have to call me doctor are people who are being rude to me. Like, that's literally, just so you guys know, that's like literally, if you want to call me doctor, you can. I'm not going to tell you no, but like, you don't have to, unless you're rude to me. And then I go, excuse me, it's doctor. And then people get really pissed off, but they have to do it. And it's really funny. Dr. Karlyn, today I started on your lessons on Substack, and I want to thank you for what you do as a conservative. You do have my gratitude for the education you are providing. I appreciate that. Listen, there are more people than ever that are finding my work, and that's awesome. I'm going to be doing live classes when things kind of like, it's just been so busy with the protest coverage lately, but I want to do live classes both virtually and in person. I want to do a whole library tour this year where I go to libraries in like leftist cities and lecture about this stuff, because that would be fun. But like, I really do appreciate it, guys. We're taking it to the next level this year. Like, things are real good, so far as I'm concerned. Thank you for the super chat. How do conservatives benefit from lying about paid protesters? Because it's a narrative that they are committed to. Why not tackle the issue of radicals directly and reveal their MO? So in order for that to happen, really think about this. Conservatives have been saying paid protester, paid protester, paid protester, paid protester for decades. This is a very embedded narrative on the conservative right. Now, so like everyone who watches conservative media believes just to the core of their being that these are paid protesters. So what happens if the influencers come out and say, guys, I know we told you these were paid protesters, but they're really not. Like, what do you think is going to happen? Like, they undermine their entire credibility if they finally start telling their audience the truth. And listen, as someone who I have been trying to tell conservatives for years, these are not paid protesters. When I tell conservatives these are not paid protesters, when I give them evidence these are not paid protesters, do you know what they do? They go, "You're a secret leftist and you're a Democrat and we don't trust you and go away, you leftist." Like, they have a fucking meltdown. So imagine if Glenn Beck went on his radio show tomorrow and said, I know for decades I've been telling you guys that these are paid protesters, and I've done all these chalkboards that had inaccurate information where I made myself look fancy and told you they were paid protesters, but really they're not. Like, Glenn Beck would completely fuck himself if he ever did that. So why are they continuing to do this? Because they have to make money. It's always about money, guys. It's about money. It's about clout. It's about relevance. They will say and do whatever they need to say and do to make money. And if anyone gets in their way and is like, no, these aren't really paid protesters, they sideline you, they defame you. I cannot tell you how many times I have been smeared and defamed relentlessly by fucking conservatives because I refuse to follow their narrative. That's why. That's why. And I'm really sorry to break hearts. I know, and because it's not the fault of the audience that they were lied to is the thing. It's just like, this is why I'm constantly more pissed off at the right than I am the left. I know you said they are a mutated strain, but do they bring in symbolism like banging pots? Yes. The banging of the pots is a reference to communist revolutions in South America, where people would bang the pots as symbol of solidarity with the revolution. So is a No Kings is a progressive movement, it's not a communist movement. So is the No Kings a symbolism of overthrowing the monarchy in Russia? I don't want to be a retard. No. I mean, you're asking a good question. I think the No Kings thing is certainly a reference to, yeah, I think that probably is a reference to that, to be honest. I think it's I also think it might just have been a good slogan that came at the right time. I don't necessarily, because again, No Kings is a progressive group. Like Indivisible is a progressive group. So certainly communists and socialists do not like monarchy. They hate that. But I don't know if I don't know if they had that reference directly in their head about the Russian Revolution, but they may have. You may be right, actually. I hadn't thought about it like that. No. You are one of the people that's been fooled by conservative retard media, and you should really stop watching conservative retard media. The people you're watching right now are communists and socialists. They are not progressives. Progressives are not the same as communists and socialists. Progressives want to maintain capitalism. Communists and socialists want to overthrow capitalism. Progressives want to maintain the current system. Communists and socialists do not. Progressives are not working as an ally with the communists and socialists. The communists and socialists certainly don't fucking think so. So no, you've been watching too much retard media. Gotta unhinge from that, bro, if you want to be smart. I understand why you might think this. So damn, I thought some progressives were democratic socialists. No. Okay, so hang on, let me show you. Uh-oh, are they gonna go through the barricade? That'd be rad. Hang on, let me show you this real quick. I'm gonna make this real easy for you guys. If you want to know the difference between the different types of groups on the left, here I made a whole webpage for you. It's called decodetheleft.com/map. I'm gonna put this in the description. If you want to know the difference between the different groups on the left, I've got it completely mapped out for you right here. There's Democrats, liberals, progressives, democratic socialists, and then revolutionary socialists. And I use socialists and communists interchangeably, so they're basically the same thing so far as practical implementation. But just go over to this webpage and you can read through the documents and you can see all the different profiles of the different groups, and you can see how they are different and how there's not like overlap between the groups. They're not friends, they're not allies. So all of that is available on the website. That's completely for free for people who are new. So go take a look. Honestly, just come to stream. Just learn on the streams. I'm working on a book that's going to be real good, but just come to the streams. That's the next thing to do. Okay, we need to have a conversation here. We need to have a conversation. Oh, hang on. What the fuck? Hang on 1 second. Sorry, I just had a live stream in another window play in my ear. Okay, we need to have a conversation now. We need to have a conversation. Are you ready? Only retards and faggots think that National Socialists are on the left. So did I list National Socialists on the decode the left, mapping the modern left spectrum? No, I didn't. Because only retards and faggots think that National Socialists were on the left. For people who have been watching too much conservative media, the Nazis were not socialist in the same way that the far left were socialist, because the Nazis believed in private property ownership. Now, obviously, the Nazis were the worst thing ever, and Hitler was the worst thing ever, and Hitler was the worst person that ever lived, and Hitler's burning in hell, and 10 million Jews died in the Holocaust, not a single Jew less. If you say anything less than 10 million Jews died in the Holocaust, you are deeply anti-Semitic. Gas chambers have wooden doors. We love bagels. There's no anti-Semitism allowed on the channel. We love Jews here. I'm just stating a fact that Hitler and the Nazis still had private property ownership. They just did. They gave away houses to people who had 4 kids. So that's just like you housing is a key thing the left wants to abolish private ownership of. And so it's not the same thing. And we hinge into reality, even though obviously the Nazis were the worst and Hitler was the worst and all that stuff. It's just reality. I'm just speaking fact. I'm not endorsing Nazis, obviously. I would never do that. No, I said, well, it's Cam Higbee, not Sam Higbee. I just said to someone said to me in DMs, they're like, you're jealous of Cam Higbee. And I said, no, I'm not. I do not want the type of exposure that Cam has. I truly don't. I do not. Listen, I want as many people as possible to see my work. That's all fine, well, and true. I want as many people as possible to see my work. I don't want to go viral to the tune of millions and millions and millions of views, though. And I don't want that type of exposure, because it would deeply inhibit my ability to do what I do. I don't want to be in the position Nick Shirley's in. I don't want to be like Cam Higbee and have and legitimately fearing for my life just based on being able to like do my job. And so like I really hope he stays safe. I really do, because they really fucking hate him right now. They hate him right now. I'm never no. I mean, I am public on the internet. It is what it is, but like I am a known quantity, but I'm not like super known. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm a known quantity. The left knows who I am. They knew I was filming their meeting tonight. They know what I do. They know I try to go undercover at their stuff. They know all that. I want like a cult following. I want to be like a cult figure. Like legitimately. I want like a cult following where it's like only the cool people know who I am. It's kind of like I want to be like if you know, you know. And it's kinda like you have to be in, like, the real wonky, like, cool kids club to really understand what we're doing here. I cling to the shadows. I don't actually like being a public person on the internet. I never wanted to be a public person on the internet, like, at all in any way. But, like, I like the idea of being kinda like this figure that, like, I want infamy. I want infamy. I don't want virality and constant fame and all that stuff. And I don't want that. I want infamy and cult like status.
8, 9, 6, 5. Minnesota State Statute 609.
Uh-oh, they're making an announcement. Time. Yeah. Actually, that would be fucking rad. I want to be the crow of the internet. Yeah, actually, yes. Exactly. We understand each other. The conservative right is obsessed with him in a way that is unhealthy because he only funds a very tiny little piece of the left. Now that Singham guy funds the National Party for Socialism and Liberation. The money he spends does not even trickle down into the local parties because there's a national branch of the PSL. There's also local branches of the PSL. The local branches of the PSL do all their own fundraising. So while he's not like completely irrelevant, the obsession that the conservative right has with him and that funding specifically is completely blown out of proportion. Also, the PSL isn't even really that dangerous. The PSL is not Antifa. He's not funding Antifa. The PSL does not engage in violent direct action. They're actually against violent direct action. Antifa hates the PSL. Antifa, I have all sorts of things that Antifa's written about the PSL, calling them the paid protesters. That's right. Antifa calls the PSL, which is what he funds. Antifa calls them the paid protesters. Because Antifa believes they are disturbing the purity of the righteous political cause. So it's a conservative obsession, mostly driven by Data Republican's bullshit, because Data Republican misinforms the audience and lies to her audience and spreads an absurd amount of misinformation. And Data Republican's responsible for the obsession that the conservative right have with him, when in fact, if Data Republican knew what the fuck she's talking about, no, you don't, you deaf bitch. She doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about. She would know that that is a tiny little slice of the overall picture. And by the way, the people that are protesting right now, they're not getting funded by Singham. That's just not happening. So that's what I think. That is what I think. Antifa literally writes zines warning people not to engage with the PSL, the Answer Coalition, the People's Forum, Code Pink. They call them genocidal organizations. Those are the organizations that guy funds. The real far left is saying, don't go anywhere near them. Okay? Does everyone understand? This is the danger of conservative bullshit. Yeah, I'm sure they're going to disperse any second very peacefully. Yes, I mean, my viewership always goes up when we're doing protest coverage, so more people are just interested in the protest coverage, but I always get more people who come and watch my normal content too. So yeah, viewership is way up, money is way up. Actually, the money is pretty fucking nice right now. I'm not gonna lie. Like covering protests, like it's kind of like I actually get a chance to breathe financially for once for after years of fucking struggling to do this. It's like, hey, this is nice. Maybe protest coverage will last all year. I could get used to that. So I can't complain, guys. Things are good. Things are good so far as I'm concerned. Whatnot is the best. And Whatnot is spending that money. Real true. Oh, they're lining up in the road. They're gonna go get him.
Please leave this area eastbound on Washington Avenue Southeast. If you do not vacate this area immediately, you will be subject to arrest immediately.
Uh-oh, they're gonna arrest them, allegedly. Allegedly.
This is your last notice. All individuals in the area are now deemed under arrest.
LRAD. 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 By the way, the leftist groups that are doing the hotel protests were complaining about the LRAD. They were like, they used an LRAD on us. Like, grow the fuck up.
Come on, guys. Come on, guys.
Guys, we do not see him. He's not on the ground. I'm not interested in him. I mean, well, here's a question. Here's a question. And it's actually really simple. Okay, not that one, not that one. Where is it? This one. Why do these violent people get away with breaking so many laws? Because they're allowed to. Because no one will do anything to stop them. Because the police aren't doing anything to stop them. Trump's not doing anything to stop them. Listen, guys, we talked about this on the stream earlier today. For people who aren't here, Pam Bondi all of a sudden figured out how to arrest people, and she only arrested 16 of them. So 16 people arrested out of 20,000 far-left activists in Minneapolis right now. They can arrest people. They can, but they don't. They get away with this because Trump is allowing them to. It's really that simple. Really that simple. Hey, did I miss this super chat? I apologize, Hannibal. Thanks for the $2. I apologize if I missed it. Mel, thanks for becoming a member of the channel. Welcome, welcome. You're never leaving the cult. Your life is over, and we're going to change everything you believe about the world. But you're going to have friends during the Communist Revolution, and that's pretty cool. Thank you, Rye Sis. Investing in an anti-commie future. Thanks for what you're doing. I do appreciate that. Thanks so much for the super chat. All right, I was working on getting my sound. Karlyn, Trump is allowing them to get away with what they're doing. That's and guys, by the way, can we please stop blaming the Democrats for what Trump is doing? Because this is what I hear from conservatives all the time. They say it's not Trump's fault, it's the Democrats' fault. No, it's Trump's fault. It's Trump's fault. Because Trump is the fucking president of the United States, guys. Like, the buck stops with Trump. If it's not Trump's, like, I understand that you guys want to blame the Democrats for every single thing, but Trump is allowing it because Trump's government is not doing anything about it. Pam Bondi just proved today that she can arrest people. They're just not arresting people. This is on Trump. You have got to start. If you guys actually want this to stop, if you actually want this to come to an end, you need to blame Trump, because Trump's the only person that's actually going to put a stop to it, or isn't he even remotely a position to put a stop to it. And if you don't blame him, then he has no reason to act, because Trump will succumb to whatever the public pressure is. And if the public, like, across the board is saying, especially in the Republican Party, fuck you, Trump, you're allowing this to happen. Every single time you guys allow Trump to get away with it, you are doing exactly what Trump is doing with the left. I'm going to say that again. When you guys allow Trump to get away with it because you don't want to blame him because you can't, because he's Trump, and you blame the Democrats instead, you are allowing Trump to get away with not doing shit, just like Trump is allowing the left to get away with doing whatever the fuck they want, because there are no consequences. There is no consequence for Trump right now if he doesn't do anything. People have got to force him to do something. Anyway, that wasn't your question though, Rebel Yell. Is there any logical reason why he may be doing so other than he's incompetent? I truly don't fucking know. I tend to think that Trump is just a massive pussy. I also think that Trump has been lied to by his advisors. I think that Trump's advisors have literally no fucking clue what's going on. We all heard Glenn Beck said he went to brief the White House. I listened to what Glenn Beck told the White House on his show. Glenn Beck doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. So if Glenn Beck is really the source of information on this particular movement, I'm not saying Glenn Beck knows nothing. He knows many things. But on this, Glenn Beck is so fucking off base with every single thing that he says. It's like, it's ridiculous. And I know that because I've been in their private fucking spaces with them. I see what they do directly. Glenn Beck has never gone undercover with these people. Anyway, I think there is a combination of just complete incompetence all around Trump. I think none of them know what's going on, and because none of them know what's going on, Trump doesn't know what's going on. I am convinced that I know more about what's going on than the FBI does. I don't see any other way around it. It's like, so it's a combination of incompetence, ignorance, and Trump being a massive pussy. Are they setting off the LRAD? Are we going to get an LRAD night, guys? Do dreams come true? Hang on, I got a couple other super chats. I want to make sure we honor the super chats because you guys are the ones that allow me to do this. Anti-commie, Trump had the legal authority to enact the Insurrection Act the moment state and local officials took any action related to sanctuary status. That's exactly right. Why hasn't Trump implemented the Insurrection Act? Why hasn't that happened? It should have happened weeks ago. It probably should have happened before that if we're being honest about it, but it minimally should have happened weeks ago. I'm glad they're not blowing a bunch of kazoos all at once nonstop. Well, give them time, Stephen. Good night. Work comes early. Thank you for all the hard work, giving us the truth and real information. I appreciate that, bro. Thanks so much for the super chat. Yo, we got a $5 on Rumble from Grey Ghost. Maybe Trump is letting blue states just shit on themselves. These cowards don't get away with... Yes, they do, Grey Ghost. Yes, they do. They're organizing these protests in Florida, Texas, North Carolina, South Carolina, even Montana, Wisconsin, I'm pretty sure, Arizona, Utah, Montana. All of those states are going to have this problem very soon. So yes, they are going to get away with it in red states. They are 100% going to get away with it in red states. hang on. We got a rumble rant from Spartan. Planned incompetence. Trump works for Israel and they want excuses for more surveillance and high tech to oppress us. There are no red states. They're all Israeli. Yo, so true. So real, Spartan. Thanks so much for the super chat, bro. I appreciate it. Trump said at his rally, they're all paid protesters. I mean, have you seen their signs? It used to be you would go down to the basement and make these. See, you know what's funny? I should pull this up sometime. I know I have it in my feed somewhere. Right after Trump started saying they have these beautiful printed signs, the Party for Socialism and Liberation actually released a video where they demonstrated how they printed the signs on their home printers. I gotta find this video and post it to the Substack. We need to play this video like all the fucking time. The Party for Socialism and Liberation literally made a video responding to Trump showing how they printed those beautiful, expensive Soros signs on their home fucking printer. It's like, you can't make this shit up.
Hey, everyone get here, let's go. We're gonna see. They're cuddling. Come on.
All individuals, you are under arrest. Please sit down.
Guys, please sit down so we can arrest you, please, guys. Will you please sit down so we can all arrest you? We'll see what happens now. Are they actually going to do it? It looks like they are. Holy shit, they're actually sitting down and waiting to be arrested. Well, I guess they're kettled, so they can't really do anything else. That's okay. Now, here's the question. After they arrest them, will they actually take them to jail, or will they take down their information before letting them go? What do you guys think? After they arrest them, will they actually take them to jail, or will they just take down their information and then let them go? 1 in the chat for take them to jail, 2 in the chat for let them go.
Yeah. Come on. Press is out there. Don't cross these tracks, okay?
That sucks. Ugh, that sucks. What the fuck? The cops just ruined all the fun. It's over. BG's turned the sound off. Now we're just gonna sit here looking at police cars for 15 fucking minutes. We're back. Ooh, this is better. Yeah, I mean, listen, the last couple nights with this hotel coverage, the last couple nights, basically what's happened is they were arrested, they took their information, and then they let them go, and then they all came back, and they all started making fucking noise again, and then the cops had to come again, and then there was another false start, and there was more tear gas. There's no tear gas tonight. That was a little bit disappointing. But, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. We're going to stick with this.
Don't press these tracks, okay? We're start moving back, guys. Move back, guys. Move back. Force out of wash here. Move back. Back. Move back.
Why are they doing this to the press? Why?
Off like the park. Spread out, back.
Why aren't they allowing the press to cover this?
Enkele tientallen mensen hebben het dus wel geïnitieerd om de plek te verlaten. We zitten nu klaar.
Why aren't they allowing the press to cover this? That seems really unnecessary, actually. Sure. You have it to me?
Tientallen mensen hebben het totaal geïnitieerd om de plek te verlaten. De duur
Yo, we got a super chat. Thank you, Dawn. Got to give my girl her daily due. I missed a lot today. I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm so sorry. Don't fucking jinx me. I don't want to get sick. It sucks ever since my husband got a job outside the house, because both my husband and I worked at home for like 8 years. And so like basically like if one of us left the house, the other one left the house. And if one of us stayed home, the other one probably stayed home too. And so now my husband has to go and leave the house to go to work, and he brings back sickness. And my husband is a car salesman too, so he has to like talk to people and shake hands and things like that. And so he brings back all sorts of viral fucking plague shit. And I'm like, I get sick through no fault of my own, and it's not fair. I get sick because my husband had to stop working from home because he was going insane, and it's not cool. And I don't want to get the plague anymore just because he wanted to go sell cars.
We're having people now being taken into the
Correction. Is it conservation? Positive? That's not correction, that's correction.
Yeah, I don't know. Have we seen Waxius today? Nope. Are they using... I have not heard that they're using Telegram, so I don't know what you exposed, but I have not heard that they're using Telegram. It may be right, but... I mean, they think that Telegram is a fascist app, bro, so I have a hard time believing the left is using Telegram because they literally think that Telegram is fascist. People are asking about the necklace. Guys, I cover the most dystopian topic on the internet. I live in a world of modern day dystopia. Do you guys really not understand why I have an Orwell eye as a necklace that I wear often? I'm literally the most dystopian fucking content creator online. I can't think of a more appropriate necklace for me to wear other than the Orwell eye. I'm getting a ring with the Orwell eye on it too. It's on its way from China right now, and it's awesome. So yeah, if it helps you, I guess, yeah, I'm in the Illuminati. Fine, whatever. You tagged me on the video again. Oh, I'm gonna bring that up. Thank you. It's an Orwell eye, motherfucker. It is what I say it is. It's my necklace. And I say it's an Orwell eye, not an Illuminati eye. I gotta download this video. Oh, here it is. Thank you. Hang on. Guys, watch this. Pay attention. Pay attention. This is a video that the Party for Socialism and Liberation posted. Oh shit, you guys can't hear that. Hang on. Again. Take 2. Watch. Sound up.
You know they're paid when they have brand new, beautiful printed signs by like the highest quality printer. And
this is how we make our signs. And that's how we make our signs.
That's it, guys.
But the yellow is a beautiful shade of yellow. You know they're paid when they have brand new, beautiful.
That's it. That's how they make the Soros signs, guys. That's it. They print it on a printer and staple it, and that's it. Again, just to make sure people saw. Watch.
Printed signs by like the highest quality printer. And
this is how we make our signs. And that's how we make our signs.
Does anyone have any questions about this video? Is anyone confused? Does anyone still believe that these are beautifully printed signs that are so beautiful that they could only be funded by George Soros? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Look, guys. Oh, no. Oh, no. We have a retard in the chat. Oh, no. Whatever will we do? Deporto! Let's go back to protest.
No.
Adios, muchacho. Hang on, we got a super chat. Welcome to the channel, Mike. Glad to have you in the cult. We're going to destroy your life and you're never going to see things the same way again and you're never leaving. It's over now. Life over. Cult member. Welcome, bro. We appreciate it. Antifa thinks Telegram is fascist but uses Signal. Yup, they do. The same Signal that government never ever had a problem with accessing. Listen, bro, I don't. Antifa doesn't like Antifa is far more worried about fascists than they are of surveillance. I mean, honestly, like they're paranoid about surveillance, but Signal is what they chose. I don't make decisions for communists. Signal is what they chose. They think Telegram is fascist. I don't know what to tell you. I'm not a communist. I didn't make the decision. I prefer Telegram. Yeah, I think it's because Signal is actually like more secure, relatively. They have a zine. Reagan says they have a whole zine about Signal fails and the downside of it. So they're not unaware of the problems with Signal. Oh, you got it at an infiltration. That's rad. I hadn't seen that one before for sure. Someone's up on a roof for Portland Andy. That was smart. Oh, maybe they are arresting them. They've got buses. Oh shit, they're loading them onto buses. Might actually be over, guys. It might actually be over.
They got the saxophone? They took somebody's saxophone. What the fuck? He was out here
Over.
to play music.
No more music.
4 fucking people for one sax.
This girl is crying because of the saxophone.
They're just hurting people. It's like how?
Let's see what you have to say here. If Antifa is in support of the hotel protest but hate the PSL, why were the Sunrise Movement and the PSL the organizers of the first big ice out march? So this is actually an interesting thing, and this is actually a relatively new development. Now, you have to understand, all of these organizations are operating independently of each other. So even if they're kind of maybe loosely associated around a single protest, that doesn't mean they're necessarily working together. It just means the Sunrise Movement is doing activism in Minneapolis. The PSL is also doing activism in Minneapolis. The Freedom Road Socialist Organization is also doing activism in Minneapolis. Socialist Alternative is also doing activism in Minneapolis. The Twin Cities DSA is also doing activism in Minneapolis. But just because all of those groups are doing activism in the same place at the same time does not necessarily mean that they are coordinating everything they do with each other, because they are autonomous groups. 5051 isn't really a far left group, although they do tend to be more far left in Minnesota than they are in other places. Anyway, so a weird thing though, and this is the first time I've seen this happen in years, is the PSL did partner with the DSA. So the PSL is not working with Antifa. That's not happening. Antifa doesn't believe in protest, bro. They don't believe in peaceful protest. Antifa believes in violent and destructive direct action. Okay? Antifa's not out carrying a PSL sign at a protest. That's not what they're doing. If they're going to a protest, they're going to go to try to instigate with the cops to try to get the cops attacking them on video. That's what's going to happen. So just because they might be at the same event doesn't mean they're working together. Even when they go to the same event, Antifa still shits on the PSL. But there was a weird thing that happened in Minneapolis a couple weeks ago in that the PSL started working with the DSA. This has not happened before. And it might just be a reflection of the fact that the PSL has gotten very large over the last several years. Again, the thing that's actually funded by the CCP is the PSL National Party. It's like the Democratic National Committee or the Republican National Committee. It's like the RNC, right? Think of it like the National PSL. That is what's funded by the CCP. There are also local chapters of the PSL all over the country. That is not funded by anyone. But I really think it's to the point now where the PSL has gotten so large and they've gotten so cohesive in their organizing among their local chapters where they can spin up protests anywhere like that. I think it's just a matter of like the PSL became such a formidable force in leftist organizing that the DSA was like, we should probably work together. Because this is also another indication, though, that the PSL is not the same as Antifa and that they don't like them because Antifa hates the DSA. And so it's one of those things where it's only going to reinforce the negative perceptions that Antifa has of the PSL because they're working with one of their mortal enemies, which is the DSA. I do appreciate the super chat. Thank you.
I didn't see that guy there. Oh my God.
Would you rather?
Yeah.
This tonight, the hotel protests, okay. I don't know that everyone in the Sunrise Movement is an Antifa. I don't necessarily believe that, but I do absolutely believe that there is overlap between Antifa and the Sunrise Movement just based on the organizing calls that I've been in lately. Like, so I do believe there was probably Antifa here tonight, even though they weren't dressed in black bloc. But
There's a lot of stuff.
the PSL is the Party for Socialism and Liberation. The DSA is the Democratic Socialists of America. They're two different socialist political parties, essentially.
All right, officers, here. So if you weren't close to nights, if there is no people.
You saw this?
Yes. If I had a rule from where I was.
Welcome, Mickey. Welcome to the cult, bro. Appreciate you joining us. Where on the scale is the Sunrise Movement? Well, based on what actually, let me just show it to you guys. Check this out. I took a screenshot of it at the time. You guys might be interested. Just gotta find it. Don't think that's it. Hang on. Is this it? This is it. Check this out. So tonight we did a spy stream, and one of the streams that we watched was with the Sunrise Movement. And this is the executive director of the Sunrise Movement right here. And on this screen, look at this. Look at what this says. Our plan on the road to revolution. Phase 1, 2026 through 2027. Slow down the authoritarians. This is about basically stopping Trump. Phase 2, electoral breakthrough. They think that they're going to elect basically more far leftist politicians in 2028. They're minimally going to strive to get Trump out of office. But here's where it gets interesting. Phase 3, 2029 through 2031, political revolution. The Sunrise Movement is calling to overthrow the government. That's what that means. In 3 years from now, the Sunrise Movement is calling to overthrow the government. What are they going to replace it with? Phase 4, 2032 plus, the new system. What do you guys think they mean when they say the new system? I'm pretty sure that means communism. Pretty sure. So I would have actually characterized the Sunrise Movement before all this stuff happening in Minnesota. I would have actually characterized them more as the DSA. I really thought that they were more DSA type people. I did not think they were this extreme. But given that I literally just watched the executive director of the Sunrise Movement just hours ago say that she wants a political revolution in 3 years that's going to lead to an entirely new system, which of course means overthrow the government and instill communism in place of America, I kind of think that they're revolutionary socialists and they're probably one of the more dangerous organizing units in the country today. Because these guys do actually have funding. These guys, I believe this is like the only group that Glenn Beck is actually correct on. When Glenn Beck is like, they're all funded by the Tide Foundation. That's not true for like the majority of the far left. It is true for the Sunrise Movement. Okay. So we always have to be very specific about this. Glenn Beck is not 100% wrong about that stuff. He's just like 95% wrong, where it's kind of like the broken clock is right twice a day sort of thing. Like this specific group does absolutely have deep pockets funding. There's no doubt in my mind about that. Like it's just the way they operate. You can see how they show up in the world. They have the resources that Antifa doesn't have. And this one is fucking crazy. So I kind of think the Sunrise Movement, based on what I've seen in the last couple weeks, might actually be one of the most dangerous parts of the far left that I really didn't think was as bad as it was. But no, don't do it. Don't stick your dick in crazy. Bro, come on.
That's crazy.
Was it like classes? I mean, I've covered a lot of these, so yeah.
Do they really believe they're going to be an elite in a communist country? Well, they believe that you don't understand what they believe, and what you're describing is Stalinism. They explicitly reject Stalinism. They want a non-hierarchical society. They actually denounce Stalin all the fucking time. They think that Stalin, hang on. They think that Stalin fucked up their glorious revolution, essentially. So what you're thinking of is Stalinism. That is not what they are proposing. But I appreciate the question. Let's see. Do you believe peaceful protest by non-affiliated people is warranted based on Metro surge tactics, or did Biden's border policy? No. There needs to be a heavy hand. I am very pro, like literally deport everyone except for my husband. Like I'm very pro, like literally deport every single fucking person that came into the country in the last 4 years. I'm also in favor of deporting 100% of the Somalis in the country, 100% of the Indians in the country, 100% of the Haitians in the country, 100% of the Mexicans in the country. Like there's a whole list of countries that I'm like, we literally just need to round them all up and like literally deport all of that, like all of them. I want to deport everyone who only speaks Spanish and refuses to learn English. Like we're absolutely deporting those motherfuckers. So that's kind of how I feel about it. But, others might disagree though. Ty, thank you. Is the Sunrise Movement traditional or queer? That's a good question. There are certainly queer people in the Sunrise Movement. I have heard allusions to queer every once in a while. So I think it's one of those things where it's like queer is definitely in the movement, but it's not the core of the movement. Like when we're talking about queer Marxism, like there are groups of people on the internet, and I'll show you guys them someday, where literally their entire life and their entire set of political activism is around being queer explicitly. It's around abolishing gender, abolishing the nuclear family. Like, it is their entire world. With the Sunrise Movement, it kind of just seems like I think queer is present in the movement. I don't think that queer is currently driving the movement. So those are two different things. I appreciate the question, though. Thank you. People are asking such awesome questions lately. Have you guys noticed this? We really have like leveled up in terms of like just the quality of the audience in the community. People are asking fucking phenomenal questions. I haven't had questions like this in years, if ever, honestly. And it's a nice breath of fresh air from the retard shit that I've been used to dealing with for a long ass time. Yeah, the chat has like ascended. We're on the next level now. I jinxed it. We're gonna get in a bunch of retard shit in right now. Like, everyone knock on wood immediately.
I feel like you were generally.
Will there be a special stream? Well, I mean, we do lots of spy streams right now with the Sunrise Movement. I think we're watching the Sunrise Movement an awful lot. I think it's certainly worth going back and watching some presentation. Like, we've been following, okay, the Sunrise Movement has always kind of like tangentially been there. Like, we've kind of been keeping an eye on them for a little bit. So what'll probably happen is we're going to pay attention to the presentations that the Sunrise Movement is doing. If they're doing online presentations, we'll show them on the channel so that you guys can see what they're saying. Am I going to do a deep dive into the history and evolution of the Sunrise Movement? Probably not, because that's just not my methodology. But yeah, I mean, the Sunrise Movement is certainly going to be something we're going to be keeping a very, very, very close eye on, because they are at the center of all of the really chaotic stuff going on in these protests right now. Probably missed like 86 things over in the Rumble chat. No, didn't miss as much, actually. You asshole. Did you guys know? Fun fact about Murphy's Pool. Fun fact about Murphy's Pool for all of the new people here that don't know the man, the myth, and the legend that is Murphy's Pool. Check this out. I went to Chicago several years. This was in 2023. I went to Chicago a couple years ago to go undercover at a multi-day event called the Socialism Conference. If you are not yet familiar with the Socialism Conference, stick around a couple months. You will become intimately familiar with the Socialism Conference. It is literally a conference called the Socialism Conference. And so I decided to go to this event, to go undercover. I spent like 3 full days in the environment of the socialists. I was listening to socialist presentations for 8 hours a day. I had to wear a chest binder and dress like a socialist. I had to sign up with a non-binary name because, fun fact, I was preemptively banned from coming to the Socialism Conference. The Socialism Conference actually emailed me before the event, and they were like, yeah, you're not welcome here. I swear to God. But I had already signed up under a fake name anyway, so it really didn't fucking matter. But when I got to Chicago, I started getting real nervous about going and getting my registration card. And so luckily, I was like, are they going to recognize me when I check in? Because they obviously knew who I was. They had preemptively banned me from the fucking conference. And so I was like, holy shit, I'm really nervous to go to the registration. Well, Murphy's Pool, the hero that is Murphy's Pool, was already driving to Chicago that day to deliver me a goodie bag to have on my 3-day stay in Chicago. And he brought me things like wine and beer and snacks and pepper spray. And it was just such a champion move because he wanted to make sure I was safe. And I said to him while he was there, I was like, Murphy's Pool, would you mind going and picking up my registration card at the Socialism Conference? Because I had registered under a non-binary name with like non-binary pronouns. And I was like, they don't know if it's a man or a woman. So can you just go get my registration card, please? And Murphy's Pool, like a champion, went to the fucking conference center, got my registration card, and came back. And he even pretended to be non-binary when he picked it up. I have literally the best supporters on the internet, and it's like, it's not even fucking close. It is literally not even close. I love you, Murphy's Pool. Thank you. I lost my job over far less participation in my AC than these kids. Karma's going to be sweet. Yeah, well, I hope so. I hope you're right about that. Thanks so much for the super chat. Yeah, start going in state. I should. That's actually... I actually did think about that last night. That might be one of my new fake names that I sign up under conferences for. Stacy. No, it's not really about that. It's, they actually wear masks at their private events too. They still believe that, I swear this is true. They still believe the pandemic is a thing and that they are protecting each other and engaging in community care by wearing masks. They believe they are caring for the other comrades in the community by wearing masks. I swear to God, it's not necessarily to protect their identity. It's not paid. Only losers and retards think this is paid. I'm so scared. They're on the megaphone again. They're starting to make noise again. ICE is a terrorist organization. We just want to let you know.
You don't even wear a mask. People got pictures of your face. If you remember for a long time that you stood with ICE after the Nuremberg style trial last year.
Well, actually, this is a fun fact for people who might not know this. So when they were doing like the pro-Palestine encampments, where they basically like took over the lawns of the universities, they were actually splitting the students who were doing the encampments into multiple groups, and each group had different roles and responsibilities. So one of those groups was they were volunteers to get arrested, and they went through all this training to teach them how to get arrested and how they were going to help them and support them and what to do and what not to do and how to try to get out of getting arrested if you could and all this stuff. So there are actually people when they're doing these kind of like demonstrations and direct actions, there will be people who will volunteer to get arrested. They put themselves in that role. They're provided with mutual aid to pay for lawyers and stuff like that. They usually have lawyers set up anyway. Again, this is all funded through mutual aid. Sometimes they work with the National Lawyers Guild. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes there are Antifa lawyers. Like there are lawyers that are in Antifa that will like do their cases and stuff like that. So yeah, they train to get arrested and they volunteer for it. We got a super chat here from Jan. Thanks, Jan. For Murphy Poole being a boss, then always keep up the good work, Karlyn. Thanks, Jan, so much. I really appreciate you. I really do need to do this. That might just have to happen. Yo, we got a super chat. I live in the TC area, and many peaceful protesters are out there because citizens are being stopped and admin warrant overreach. Personally, the latter is okay, but I have an issue with stopping citizens. I mean, if you don't understand that the underlying subtext to all of this is far left activism that's driving all of this nonsense and chaos, and that if you don't understand that the goal of the far left is to overthrow the government, I don't really know what to say. Like, if you're watching my channel, maybe stick around so you can actually see this a little bit more clearly. But it's just like, listen, in my heart of hearts, I'm a libertarian. That is actually the truth. I do not give a fuck what people do with their lives. I just want people to leave me alone, and that's it. But it is the hemming and hawing of the fucking libertarians that are causing half of the fucking problems. Because the approach of the libertarians, like, oh, this is all over. Okay, fine. Yeah, okay, maybe fine from a pure libertarian perspective. But we have actual fucking problems in this country. There are actual problems in this country. And this is not going to be stopped by embracing libertarian fucking purity. And I say that as someone who lives in the free state of New Hampshire with more libertarians per capita than like any other place. Libertarianism is a beautiful philosophy that is not going to solve this problem because libertarians can't actually fucking accomplish anything. It's just arguing about philosophy all day, every day, seeing who is the most pure libertarian, having absurd conversations that never go anywhere. It's not going to solve the problem. And so I don't know, man, if you want to be like, try to cause problems for ICE because you're so committed to having Spanish speaking fucking Mexicans taking over our country, I am personally fine with oppressing people if it means that I don't have to listen to Spanish all day in fucking New Hampshire. That is a trade-off that I'm willing to make. I am absolutely willing to sacrifice libertarian purity so that I can go to a mall in New Hampshire and not be surrounded by Spanish-speaking brown people. I live in New Hampshire. God damn it. Now, I don't have anything against Spanish-speaking brown people. I just want them to go back to Mexico and be very, very happy. I want them to live their best life in Mexico. I don't think they're bad people. I don't think I'm better than them. I just think that this is a voluntary thing. I live in New Hampshire. It is supposed to be white here. Stacy, thanks for the super chat. I appreciate you and everything you do to teach us what's really going on. Thank you. Thank you, Stacy. I appreciate that. Bro, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Laura. I'm so you have to listen to Somalis all day. I would fucking shoot myself if I had to listen to Somalis all day. I'm like Indians too. And again, no offense to Indians. I really like Indian food. Indian food is awesome. And I appreciate the Indians when they make very good Indian food. But like oh my God, you guys should have heard, like my husband used to do sales. And my husband had to negotiate with Indian potential customers like all day, every day. And you should have heard like the things that I've heard about the Indians that I'm like, my husband has the patience of a saint. I'll tell you what. So, yeah, I'm very happy doing socialism on the internet where I don't have to listen to people talking with an Indian or Somali accent or Spanish. Murphy's, fuck you, Murphy's. Fuck you, asshole. Thanks for the money. No comprende.
I haven't seen the Proud Boys in a while.
I haven't seen the Proud Boys in a while. Where is Enrique?
Maybe I'll join ICE. You know they hate anybody who isn't white, right? Half of these cops are brown skin or darker.
You know what I want? All this talk of Mexicans, I really want a burrito. I want a burrito so bad. I'm gonna go shopping tomorrow and I'm gonna make the fuck out of a burrito and it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be the best. You had a burrito earlier? Man. Missed opportunity. I had chicken earlier. I know. I just need to get Olive Garden. You're right. You're right. But to be fair, I did promise the Olive Garden before I went on the keto crash diet. And now I'm on the keto crash diet and I'm only supposed to eat like chicken and protein and things like that. So I don't know if I can even eat Olive Garden right now because I'm on the, like, it would probably like really, like even with a burrito, I'm not even eating a tortilla. I'm just eating a bowl of like meat and other like assorted burrito ingredients. So I don't know. Olive Garden might have to wait until I'm done with the keto crash diet. Fajita, exactly.
start to shoot back, you guys are going to take their side or the people's side?
Buses are on the move. The buses left. Might be over, guys. It might be over. Good. They're going to jail. Good. They should sit their asses in jail for a couple days. What the fuck is Andy doing? Look at that. Andy's really enjoying himself tonight, apparently. Yeah, I would say. Yeah, I think Andy's probably high. Yeah, I think that's good. A good guess. Yep. Andy is like having a blast though. Following up. I'm gonna make sure to answer that. I apologize. It's just been a busy fucking week. I'm gonna have a lighter day tomorrow. So if anyone's waiting to hear from me on anything, I will get back to you tomorrow. It's been like just nonstop chaos lately, but I appreciate it. See, I kind of want to go to bed. Like, part of me wants to go to bed. I had to get up early today. And part of me is like, I'm going to be tempting fate. If I turn the fucking stream off and go to bed, something's going to happen. And so I'm kind of just hanging out right now thinking that it's probably over and it's probably going to be real boring and you're probably not going to miss anything if you go to bed. But just like the last couple nights of coverage of this stuff, it's just been true both times that it literally as soon as I turned off the stream, something else happened. Andy was drunk when he crashed his scooter, but he was smoking the whole night before and during he was drinking. As long as he's having fun. Yeah, but see, this is what I'm thinking. Like, this time they actually arrested people. They put them on a bus. They drove them away. So but that guy has been shouting into the megaphone. So there's obviously more people still there. Okay, are they leaving? Are they done? Look at all these wasted resources. Look at all these taxpayer-funded employees. Thank you. Did you guys think I did good on Harrison? With Harrison on InfoWars? I thought I did pretty good. I was pretty psyched about it. I gotta make a clip of it. I'll post a clip of it, Chris. Don't worry about it. I mean, I think Harrison retweeted a clip. I retweeted it too. Can we watch it, rewatch it with Harrison? Do you guys want to watch it now? Since it's kind of in a lull, we can put BG up over here and see if anything happens. Do you guys want to watch it now? Who wants to watch my interview with Harrison? Just as something to do, since, you know, some people haven't seen it and they want to. Let me put BG up above here. Okay, now this is going to be weird. I don't normally watch myself because I don't like it, but I'm going to do it because you guys want to, or some of you want to. I don't know how many of you want to, but some of you definitely do. I don't know if this is like the full interview. Is this the full? No, that's only a minute. Hang on. Where the fuck is it? I definitely retweeted it. Hang on. Just gotta find it. Okay. Here is, what is it, around 2 hours? Here's the stream from today.
Take that energy. Realize
and we have to go to the 2 hour point.
Exciting product at the Alamo Hilton. If you love now for yourself in this product, my here, home neutral blood strain, genic, and something.
It's gonna be weird.
Welcome back, folks. Third hour of the American Journal is on, and I'm very happy to welcome my guest right off the bat, Karlyn Borysenko. Can be found at decodetheleft.com, karlyn.substack.com. That's KARLYN.substack.com. She tracks and spies are planning what they're saying in their private chats. It's really important and powerful work. Karlyn, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Harrison.
My pleasure. I've been meaning to get you on. I mean, this is your time to shine. What can you tell us about what's going on in Minneapolis and Minnesota at large?
Oh, the situation is really bad. And I got to be honest, I kind of thought the winter weather would deter them at the beginning. But now what I'm beginning to understand is like the left is building so much momentum behind the anti-ICE activism that I just don't know what can stop them. And one of the interesting things, Harrison, and I've been listening into anti-ICE organizing calls across a lot of different groups on the far left almost every single day for weeks. The left is happy and they think they're winning and they are more excited than ever. And you have to understand, I've been following the far left for about 5 years now. I have never heard them this happy and this excited and this motivated. And they really think they have all the momentum on their side. And I gotta tell you, with the way the Trump administration is responding to them, it kind of seems like Trump is very weak in this situation. He doesn't really have a grasp on what is going to be required to stop the problem. We are only going to see more protesting, more noise demonstrations outside of these hotels that we've been seeing. And the really scary part is this is not just in Minnesota. The far left right now is trying to work to export all of the different strategies that they're using in Minnesota nationwide. So we already saw hotel protests show up last night in New York. We're starting to see it show up in California. I know it's showing up in Ohio, Missouri, South Carolina. I've even seen ads for Florida, Texas, and even Montana. And so what the far left doing is being phenomenally successful in Minnesota. And it's going to be very dangerous if the Trump administration doesn't get a handle on this to stop it.
How do you think they should get a handle? I mean, because I'm not surprised by that. If I was on the left, I would also be feeling ebullient right now. Like I'd be feeling like we were winning because obviously they are. I mean, I don't think there's any debate on that. What would you do? Let's start with the solutions. How would you approach this from if you were Trump?
They need to go in with overwhelming force. That's the only way I can think to describe this. That is what the left understands is overwhelming force. So for example, I've been watching these hotel protests where they're going and they're finding the hotels that ICE officials are staying in, and they're going and banging pans and making all sorts of noise outside these hotels. Here's what happens, Harrison. The left goes and makes a ton of noise for hours. They break things, they destroy property, and then the police show up and they make an announcement saying, hey, you kids better cut it out and go home. And they don't cut it out and they keep going. And then the police say, hey, you guys, we're going to arrest you if you don't cut it out. And then, there's some tear gas fired, and maybe the police even catch a few people and put them in handcuffs. But then what happens immediately after that is the police let them go. They literally let them go. They're not really arresting anyone. They let them go, and then the entire group reconvenes and starts making noise again until the police show up again. And it's like, until these people are put in jail and kept off the streets and prevented from doing activism, we are only going to see this continue to expand and grow and get much worse than it already is.
Again, it seems like an inescapable conclusion from the trajectory that things are going now. And of course, it just, when you really think about it, it becomes like overwhelming when you realize, like, even if you arrest him, the judges are probably going to let him out. The prosecutors are probably on their side. I mean, what do you do when the entire local government seems to be hijacked by these radical groups? I mean, the Signal chat has revealed a lot of people very close to not just the local city government, but the state government are actively involved, actively communicating with the rioters, and of course, helping them out however they can. So, I mean, really, this is a very, very difficult situation to deal with if you're trying to deal with it through the proper channels of the local government. They're not gonna capitulate. I mean, they're not gonna help, right?
No, they're absolutely not going to help. And that's why I say Trump needs to go in with overwhelming force. And it gets even scarier than that, because a lot of these groups, I mean, this organizing has been going on. That was a hard point for me because they needed to wrap to go to a break, and I had more to say. So I was like, I don't like the rest of my answer there. I was like, okay, we need to go to break, so I need to shut the fuck up. Okay, moving on. Next commercial.
Karlyn.substack.com. You do such important work identifying what's happening in the leftist chats, what they're actually saying to each other. And again, I was saying before you came on, when it comes to May Day, things like that, I feel like you and I are sitting alone up on a ridge watching a train barrel towards a crash, and we're 2 years away, and we're going to sit here for 2.
Harrison Smith is the only fucking person on the internet, except for me and us, that understand the significance of May Day 2028. And I gotta give him a lot of credit here, because like I made a video about the whole thing on May Day 2028, like, several months ago, and I just put it out on Twitter, and it went viral like accidentally. And how I actually got connected with Harrison is Harrison saw it and played the entire thing on his show, because he was like, holy shit, he understood the problem. And it's like, people don't, I'm going to explain it to him, but like, people don't understand the significance of this. May Day 2028 is supposed to be the spark that shuts down the economy to facilitate the leftist revolution. You're basically watching, like, when you're doing it, you're watching like a countdown to the next break. So, kind of, and they start playing music out and stuff like that.
Years going, slow the train down, you've got to stop it. Why does nobody care about this? Why are the Republicans so incapable of grasping what the left is doing and why they're doing it and how they're doing it? It's like we are constantly surprised with the most obvious stuff. How do we get through to people, Karlyn?
I don't know, Harrison, but what I will say, the good news is that there are more people paying attention than ever. And I do think that people are starting to wake up to the fact that this is a problem. Perhaps they're waking up a bit too late, and I wish they would have woken up years ago, but it is what it is. But on that May Day point, I want to tell you this. So no, come on, Twitter. Because the left is so motivated and so energized, I think they might be actually trying to move up that schedule for May Day. So, of course, we saw the first mass general strike that the left tried to do in Minneapolis last week on Friday. Yeah, it didn't freeze live. I mean, we're going to have to get the video. I'll get the better video clip later, but this is Twitter, of course, that we're watching this on. Hopefully it comes back. Well, okay, so May Day 2026, they're definitely
They did try to export that nationwide with a certain amount of success. They're going to be doing another general strike this Friday coming up, but the far left is already planning for May Day 2026, which is on May 1st. It is a Friday, of course, and they are already planning to do a big nationwide, hopefully for them, prolonged mass strike where they are literally trying to shut down the economy across all sectors. And by all sectors, I mean the teachers unions are directly involved in this. They want to shut down the schools, not only by doing student walkouts, but by organizing with the teachers unions. The grocers association and unions are involved in this. The auto workers are involved. The airline unions are involved. The AFL-CIO, the SEIU, the Teamsters are involved. Like pretty much every major union is going to be involved in these mass protests. And that's honestly, if Republicans want something they can do, what really needs to happen is there need to be congressional hearings into the political organizing activities of the labor unions, because the labor unions are.
Oh yeah. James O'Keefe has had the shocking revelation that the protesters are serious. Wow. Is it actually happening, guys?
Not about helping employees. They are about far left organizing. And the proof of this is just look at any major leftist protest. The main organizers in all of them are the labor unions. And so I think we are in for a heck of a May Day 2026. I've been on multiple organizing calls where they're already starting to plan for May Day 2026. I was just on one last night with the Sunrise Movement, where they literally have an entire manual that I will be releasing on my Substack today about their organizing plans. The Sunrise Movement is the same organization doing the noise protests outside the hotels in Minneapolis. So it's going to be a wild ride.
Yeah, that's one way to put it. Again, it's just so frustrating.
I feel like I overwhelm him with information, but I feel like I need to overwhelm him with information because he's smart. He can handle it. He can process all of the information. It's so unlike the retards that I've interviewed with before. Actually, no, I've interviewed with smart people. I shouldn't say everyone's retarded. On Pinky, thanks for the super chat. Thanks for showing this. I missed it because I landed in the. Oh no, you landed in the ICU. Oh no. I hope I don't get transferred to Minnesota. I hope you don't either. Either way, I will be here for you, watching as much as I can. I'm learning so much. Thank you, Aunt Pinky. You are the best. I hope everything's okay, and I hope you go to a good hospital where you have lots of white doctors that are very handsome men.
Frustrating that it would be so easy to do something or anything about this, and we just can't get anything done. But man, it must be nice to be a leftist. I mean, it's a win-win for them, right? They get to sort of move their schedule up. They'll try this on May 1st, 2026. And hey, maybe it snowballs. Maybe it becomes something really big and it becomes successful and they take down the government. Or it's just a practice run and they get to sort of train their networks and figure out, pros and cons, because obviously nothing's going to happen to them. This is just a training run. It either succeeds, wonderful. And if it doesn't, they get to try again next year. Again, what do we have to do to get people to understand? And tell me if you disagree. We have to intervene. There's no convincing these people to stop. There's no meeting some of these people's demands and they'll be satisfied. We have to physically intervene, stop these people, break up their networks. That's the only option as far as I see it. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong at all. They are not going to stop. They are not going to be deprogrammed. There's no reasoning with these people. And I think the very first step, honestly, is that people have got to start taking the far left a lot more seriously than they've been taking them over the past several years. And this is my constant consternation. I know it's yours too, is that people on the right look at the left and they think they're stupid. They're mentally ill. They don't have jobs. Well, I'm sorry. They do have jobs. They control the labor unions. How do they control the labor unions if they don't have jobs, you idiots? And it's like every time people say stuff like this, they are perpetuating these falsehoods that make it very easy.
That was fucking great. I said that on InfoWars, guys. Sometimes when I'm doing interviews, it just comes through me. I don't actually think, and I barely remember it when I do it. Can we watch that again? That was awesome.
this is my constant consternation, I know it's yours too, is that people on the right look at the left and they think they're stupid, they're mentally ill, they don't have jobs. Well, I'm sorry, they do have jobs. They control the labor unions. How do they control the labor unions if they don't have jobs, you idiots? And it's like every time people say stuff like this, they are perpetuating these falsehoods that make it very easy to dismiss the left. This is not a bunch of angry college students that are going to grow out of it. These are people who have
no, guys, we need to shame a retard in the chat. Hey, bro, only retards and faggots think that they're paid agitators. Which are you? We'll wait for your answer. Only retards and faggots think they're paid agitators. Which are you? Let us know. Everyone shame that loser in the chat, please. God.
Indoctrinated into this ideology since they were 5 years old. They are not growing out of it this time. And by the way, we have an entire teaching pool and 2 major teachers unions that are also indoctrinated into this ideology and are constantly perpetuating it in the public schools and are facilitating all of this. Even the University of Minnesota last week, I would love to see Trump defund the University of Minnesota, because quite frankly, the University of Minnesota is responsible.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. That's not true at all. Conservative bullshit again. That deserves a tip, and please clip it. I will clip it, Kelly. I promise. Thanks so much for the super chat.
Responsible for a lot of these students that are outside doing this. And guess what? Last Friday for the general strike, over 200 professors at the University of Minnesota canceled classes, held anti-ICE organizing training, and did proactive activism to book out hotel rooms at Hilton hotels so that ICE officers couldn't book them instead. So the colleges and universities are complicit, and Trump would be well advised to pull all federal funding from the University of Minnesota if he wants to shut it down.
Well, there you add it to the list of things that he could do with a stroke of a pen that he's not doing for some inexplicable reason. And you're right. People don't take the left seriously. Like when the Signal chat came out. I mean, it's shocking what's in there. It's crazy that the people, the former campaign manager for Tim Walz is one of the organizers. Like what was exposed, I'm not downplaying, but it's not exactly a surprise for people like you and I. Like, of course, these Signal chats exist. Of course, this is the level of organization that they have. Of course, they're sending manuals out showing how to intervene with ICE. This should not be a surprise, and it should not be independent reporters that are having to discover this stuff and put the FBI's feet to the fire. They're not doing the research. What is your take on the Signal chat? Was this...
No. We're not kidding at all. No. You have been listening to way too much conservative retard propaganda. There is no reality in which Antifa are funded through Democratic NGOs. Whoever you are listening to, you need to stop listening to them immediately because you sound retarded. Like anyone who listens to the left knows that this is not true. Literally only losers and retards who listen to too much conservative propaganda think that's true. I'm very, 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 very sorry.
Singular big thing, or is this just one of many chats that you think we need to be concerned about?
Oh, Harrison, I've been reporting on the Signal chats for almost a year. The Signal chats were not a surprise at all. And just because it was a surprise to mass conservatives, it doesn't mean that it hasn't been going on. This organizing has been going on for over a year now, ever since Trump took
very
office.
sorry, too
and I'll
stupid
give
to be
you
here.
one better,
Bye.
and this is on my Substack right now. I just posted it this morning. Months ago, I actually found an archive of far left propaganda in the form of zines that are being used to facilitate ICE reporting and these Signal groups all over the country. An interesting thing about these zines is they all listed local hotlines that people could actually call to report ICE sightings in their neighborhoods. What happens when you call to report to a hotline is that the report gets facilitated out to the Signal group. So it's not just Minnesota. It's like there is a nationwide network of hotlines and organizations that are sponsoring these hotlines that people can actually go to look to where they are the ones facilitating all of this anti-ICE organizing and the reporting into the Signal groups in the first place. Just this morning, morning on my Substack, which is Karlyn, Karlyn.substack.com, I posted an entire database of the propaganda that's being distributed in the real world all over the country, a list of all the hotlines,
them having it
and
up.
a list of all of the organizations that are sponsoring those hotlines. And I'm calling for the public's help here. I need help in going through all this stuff because I have been trying to get this information into the hands of journalists for months. I personally don't have time to track all this stuff down, but I promise you, if people go to my Substack and they find that list of organizations that is linked in that article, they will be able to track down who is funding these signal groups, who's coordinating these signal groups, and how nationwide across all major cities these people are working together to impede the operations of ICE. And that image right there is a picture. That is actually me finding one of these zines in the real world. I found that when I was undercover the last time in San Francisco. And so I know this information is being used in the real world. I know these hotlines are coordinated, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of them are being funded by local and state government.
Of course they are. I mean, when we know that they're
That was
involved, I just
fire.
retweeted one of the videos that you did saying, I know how all the anti-ICE signal groups are connected nationwide and how to find their funding sources. Again, how, you know, we obviously can't rely on the Republicans to do anything about this. I mean, it sucks because they could so easily, and that is the obvious solution.
So
short of that, what can people do? Like,
so
because
real.
I've been encouraging people to go do what Cam Higbee did, what you do, go find these signal chats, publish them. It's like, why not? What is there to lose? But I also, you know, I don't want to be encouraging people to do something if, you know, it's going to get them doxxed or whatever. So how do you do this safely? How do you, you know, find your way into these groups? Because I think this is something everybody listening to us could be doing. I mean, just do it on your lunch break, you know, find these signal chats or find these social media groups and make an account and join them and just see what they're up to. Like, it's so easy. I don't think there's any risk. Is there a risk in this? What do people need to know? And how do people do their own research? Because we cannot rely on mainstream media. We cannot rely on the Republicans. It's up to us, folks. We got to get involved. How do people do that?
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Harrison. I think everyone can do this research. And in fact, in my community, through my YouTube channel and my Substack, we are actually coordinating with many people in my community who do go undercover to gather this information. They go into the signal groups. Some of them sign up for far left groups in their neighborhood. They go to their meetings. They track everything they're doing. They make it available to the public so that we can all see. Anyone can learn how to do this. But the thing of it is the first thing people need to do is learn how to speak the language of the left. You have to learn what their language actually means, because they do speak in a completely different language. That's what I teach on my YouTube channel every single day. I have free resources on my Substack to be able to help people out to learn the language. Because if you don't understand what they're saying, you're not going to be able to articulate the correct information. I do want to warn people, though, there are different spectrums of the left where some groups are not dangerous at all, and it's not going to put you in any harm to try to infiltrate them. But when we're talking about the far left, and the far left are the ones doing the majority of this anti-ICE organizing, it can be very dangerous to go to these groups in person, especially if you don't know how to speak their language, because they're going to be able to figure out who you are very quickly. And so I would really caution people to be very careful. I've heard from multiple conservatives that want to go to these anti-ICE protests and they want to disrupt them or do pro-ICE protesting. And while I understand the inclination, people also have to understand that they will physically assault you. They are very hyped up. We've seen them physically assault multiple people. We've seen them go after Cam Higbee and Nick Sorter. They pretend to jump on cars to try to pretend that they got hit by cars and stuff like that to get them in trouble. They physically throw things at them like water bottles that are frozen. You have to be very aware of what you're getting into if you go to these things in person. And so I would highly recommend that.
I would love to talk to Crowder. I think that would be actually a really interesting conversation with Crowder. I don't know that Crowder himself actually knows who I am. I know one of his producers knows who I am, but I don't have any sort of sense that like Crowder himself knows who I am. But like I think that would be a really interesting conversation if he actually had like a constructive dialogue about it.
Everyone sign up to go to their organizing calls, listen into them online, create secret identities. I have like 15 secret identities that I use to go into these meetings all the time. And so anyone can do this, but you also have to know what you're dealing with when it comes to dealing with the left.
And it seems like the younger the groups are, the more extreme they are. At least that's what I've gotten. That's a sense I've gotten from your videos in particular. It's like you had a video recently of college students, and that was radical. And then there's high school students inside that. And of course, we've noticed this with the Tesla protests and everything else. I know we talked about this last time you were on, that the older people are the ones out there still waving signs and protesting, and the younger people aren't doing that, not because they don't believe or don't, oppose the government, but because they've given up on protesting. Is that true? And what sort of trends do you see demographically in terms of?
Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Looks like all's quiet on the noise protest. Are you guys enjoying this? Is this everything you hoped it would be? It's so weird to watch
being
myself.
More radical, or older people being disconnected with the reality of what they're involved in? How do you see the demographics of the left right now?
Yeah,
I'm not going on
certainly on the
Tim Pool.
left, there
No.
are multiple different types.
There's no universe in which I'm ever going on Tim Pool's show. That is not going to happen. I have no interest in it. He's afraid of me. I would end up yelling. He would end up crying. It would just be like, it would be a total mess. I wouldn't actually even get to talk about what I want to talk about, you know? So Tim Pool, not going to happen at all. It wouldn't even be about my work. It would be about some stupid pop culture thing that I have no idea about.
People,
you know?
You've got like your old hippie communists that have always been communists, but they're not really dangerous. They're kind of like harmless. They go out and they hold their signs and they chant their chants and whatever. But the younger generation, and I'm really talking about maybe like 30s and under here, they have grown up in an extreme far left environment that's been heavily influenced by the post 9/11 era, by Occupy Wall Street, and by leftist propaganda that is circulating in these far left ecosystems and communities that is much more extreme than anything the old hippie communists ever read during that kind of their tenure. And so I would say you're absolutely correct that younger people are more extreme in their thinking. And what I will also tell you is a very important trend that I've seen over the last year is an explicit rejection of non-violent protests. So I've seen now over multiple leftist groups, they're saying the No Kings protests are great for a day, but they don't really accomplish anything because they're non-violent. We need to get more violent. We need to get more aggressive. This is what they're writing in their manifestos. And the Trump administration has only emboldened them in this aspect as well, because after Trump issued the executive order declaring them domestic terrorists, Antifa basically came out and started publishing, and they called Trump's bluff. They said, oh yeah, Trump, you want to declare us domestic terrorists? Well, we're going to come at you more aggressively. We're going to do more activism. So Antifa doubled down, and Trump never followed through on the executive order to declare them domestic terrorists. Like almost no one in Antifa has actually been arrested, even though we know exactly who they are. They're the people protesting outside the hotel.
Did I just like not breathe for like 5 minutes? Like, how the fuck did I even get through this entire monologue? And Harrison Smith is a saint for just letting me kind of go off, because I feel like I just keep going and going and going. And it's like, maybe Karlyn, maybe you should shorten the answers a little bit, okay?
Are the people destroying things. Like, it's very, very clear based on their operational tactics who these people are, but they're not being arrested. And so every day that Trump allows this to go on.
Yeah, I turned on an extra light. So I have an extra light over here I can turn on when I'm doing like interviews and stuff like that, because that time I looked green on Fox News, that really fucking traumatized me. I got to be honest with you. So yeah, my hair does have red in it. So yeah, it's darker now because I don't have all the lights on.
The far left is getting more emboldened to engage in destructive behavior, vandalism, violence, and they are now viewing it as part of their standard operating procedure.
Yeah, and of course that's going to happen. I mean, Trump is responding in the worst way possible. If you just don't do anything, that's one thing. But if you act tough and then don't follow through, of course you're going to embolden the people that you're, trying to fight against. And I wonder, just like, are all of these things performative from the Trump administration? Because he has this big press conference where he declares them domestic terrorists. Nothing changes. Nothing happens. Their funding isn't rounded up. The networks aren't. I mean, just nothing has happened. I think the same thing with the ADL, and Kash Patel makes this big thing saying we are no longer working with the ADL. According to the ADL, they're still working hand in glove. So it's just like they just make these announcements. Are they just blatantly lying, or are they actually doing anything? Have you heard anything that's been done against Antifa since they were declared domestic terrorists at all?
No, not a single thing. And to be honest with you, the Trump administration is lying. They're saying they're funded by these big funding sources. I'm sorry, but that's just not true. Antifa's funded by mutual aid. They fund themselves through small cash donations. And it's actually funny because when Trump made this big deal about them printing these beautiful signs, Antifa actually responded with videos showing how they print the signs on their home printers at home. Like, these are not big funded organizations. And so it's like the Trump administration, I think, is completely unhinged from reality in terms of how the left is operating, how they're organizing. They are advancing a narrative that does not actually mirror what is going on. And so the Trump administration needs to start looking at what the far left is actually doing, because the spreading of the propaganda, the left literally makes fun of the right all the time. We're starting to see this with the left is coming out and saying, you idiots, we're not paid protesters. We do all this for free, which is actually the truth. And until people start to accept that, then I don't know what else can be done in this situation.
Yeah. He knows what questions to ask. He does.
I would think
he pays attention.
Something would be a good move. I mean, anything perhaps would be a beneficial move, because right now, I mean, Trump talks tough. I went off for a while today about the latest post where he says, surprisingly, Jacob Frey is not going to work with ICE, even though we had a lovely conversation about it. And it's like, does he not realize the left just lies to his face and he buys it and it makes him look like an idiot? And then you've got this. Tim Walz finishes meeting with Tom Homan, demanding swift, significant reduction in immigration agents. So they're not being cowed. They're not, backing down from their demands. They're upping their demands. They're becoming more aggressive. Is there any risk, Karlyn, that an aggressive push from Trump, he declares the Insurrection Act, he sends in troops, would that not just stoke the fire? Is the left, do they want that, or are they scared of that? I can't really figure it out. What do you think, just from your taking of the temperature? Let's say Trump today goes, you know what, I've had enough, I'm sending troops in. Would that crush the protest, or would that make it spiral out of control?
I truly don't know, Harrison. And the thing of it is, I think if Trump had declared the Insurrection Act maybe a week or two ago, we would be in a much different situation than we're in now. I think potentially it could force it to spiral out of control and just get much bigger. But I also think that the only way to actually stop this is the use of overwhelming force to quell the organizing that's going on and to stop their momentum dead in the tracks. And so it's like the Trump administration, because they have ignored this problem for so long and they put it off for so long, they are now in a really difficult, almost lose-lose situation where I truly do not know how they can even get their hands around this. And this is the problem with lying to yourself about what is going on the far left, ignoring the problem, ignoring how serious it is, making fun of them, just owning the libs on Twitter. That doesn't solve actual problems. And all the time that conservatives spend doing this stuff where they're just making fun of the libs or whatever, they are wasting time and energy that they could have used to solve the problem. Again, I cannot emphasize this enough. This is not a problem that jumped up overnight. They have been doing this organizing for over a year. It started very, very small and then just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And it was ignored for the entire past year by the Trump administration, by conservative media, by most independent journalists. I was one of the only people covering it for months leading up to the June protests in Los Angeles. And this is what happens, folks. This is what happens when you ignore problems and you expect them to go away because you think the left is just a bunch of silly college kids that are going to grow up and get a job someday. No, they're not. They're ideologues. This is their identity. This is what they believe. And they are deeply committed to overthrowing what they believe is the capitalist United States government and abolishing the Constitution. So can we all please get our heads in the game, because things are about to get very bad if we don't.
That was a fucking fire answer. You guys got to give me credit for that one. That was fucking awesome. That was good. If they're not getting paid for this shit, that means they made this their life, and that's more dangerous than anyone making money. That is exactly the point I keep trying to make, Emma. That is exactly correct. This idea that they're all paid protesters is so dangerous because they're not paid protesters. This is their identity. This is central to their belief system. And that's far scarier than them being paid protesters. That's exactly right.
Very powerful stuff. I absolutely agree. There's a story on InfoWars, quote, "It's insurgency." Former Spec Ops soldier exposes Minneapolis, quote unquote, protest, saying what's unfolding in Minneapolis right now is not a protest. It's low-level insurgency infrastructure built by people who've clearly studied the playbook. That's the opinion of Eric Schwalm, a former Green Beret with experience in Afghanistan and Iraq. I mean, whether you want to call it a color revolution, an insurgency of some sort, clearly the ultimate goal is the overthrow of the United States. And the longer it goes on, the harder it gets to solve. I wanted to ask you about this. It was actually posted by Data Republican, but it's a post from Signalgate admin Moss, also known as Fugu. basically saying communists have a critical weakness in all of their solidarity rhetoric. Their psychology cannot handle the existence of opposing opinions, let alone spies. Just one person infiltrating breaks down all their trust in operations. If that doesn't restore agency and motivate you, I don't know what will. What's your take on that opinion that these communist groups are vulnerable to infiltration and disruption if you can sort of start arguments inside?
Yeah, well, generally speaking, I don't trust anything Data Republican says. I found them spreading misinformation on. He almost laughed. He almost fucking laughed. He almost watched. Well, generally speaking, I don't trust anything Data Republican says. One more time, I'm gonna let it play. Yeah, well, generally speaking, I don't trust anything Data Republican says. I found them spreading misinformation on multiple circumstances, so I think they're a terrible source of information personally. I don't actually think that's an accurate view of how the left operates either. Listen, a lot of these leftist activists, they know each other in person, and so while it is true that sometimes you can create a little bit of infighting, it's not going to be significant enough to actually break down the whole group because this is a fun fact for people. The left actually has an entire manual about how they deal with conflict. I've seen it. It's about this thick. So they actually have ways that they deal with conflict within the group. They deal with disagreements in the group that if they do have a little bit of infighting, they tend to get over it very quickly. So I think that like you can create different infighting between different leftist groups. For example, Antifa does not like the Party for Socialism and Liberation. Revolutionary Socialists do not like the Democratic Socialists of America. They consider them to be kind of their biggest enemies because some are revolutionaries, some are reformers. It's a whole big thing I can spend hours talking about. So you can create dissension between the groups, but creating dissension in the groups oftentimes doesn't happen because these groups are they're collectivists. This is a collectivist mindset. And so they know each other in person. They just go talk to each other in person.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's very good to know. Still worth a shot. I still think it's worth a shot. I think if you want to go in and follow the CIA's manual for simple sabotage, and I think it's why not?
Thanks,
Again,
Kelly.
my guest is Karlyn Borysenko. Decodetheleft.com, Karlyn.substack.com. That's KARLYN.substack.com, and of course follow her on X. Last minute, I wish we had more time. We're gonna have to get you on again, especially if these operations continue to grow. Last minute. Floor is yours. What do you want people to know about what's happening in Minnesota, Minneapolis, and where it goes from here?
Yeah, I really want people to understand that we are about to see this exported nationwide. J.D. Vance was absolutely incorrect in his speech the other day when he said this is a problem that's unique to Minnesota. It's in Minnesota because Minnesota is actually where modern day Antifa in the United States began back in 1986 in the Sharp movement, which was the skinheads against racial prejudice. That became the Anti-Racist Action Network, which was a nationwide network of decentralized, non-hierarchical cells that evolved into what is modern day Antifa. It started in Minnesota. That's why it's starting there, and we see so much leftist stuff there. But Antifa is currently working on exporting this all over the country. And yes, it is in red states too. This is not just a Democrat problem. This is a Republican problem as well. And until people start taking this seriously and really honing in on how the left is organizing and what they're doing, then we are totally lost.
Yo, that was a pretty solid. I am a savant. On this particular topic. I don't know why. When I learn something about the left, it goes into some file in my brain where I never forget it. I just it's the weirdest fucking thing. I'm not a savant about everything. I'm a savant about this specific, like very narrow kind of weird specialty. Anyway, that was pretty good. I did pretty good. I think I did pretty good. Do you guys think I did good? You guys like it? I thought that was pretty good. I thought that was, especially considering I had barely had any coffee. I mean, come on. But I mean, listen, it's easy to be good. It's easy to give good answers when you're asked good questions and you have a good interviewer. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. Harrison Smith is one of the best interviewers that I can even ask for. He understands this stuff. He asks the right questions. He actually gives a fuck. He's curious. He knows where to go. He lets you talk. Like, I thought I was pretty pleased with myself, to be very honest about it. I think it was good. It's weird watching myself, though. I don't like that so much. But anyway, it's 1 a.m. The protest is over. Everyone is in jail. BG on the scene has gone home, and BG on the scene doesn't go home until it's actually time to go home. So I'm going to bed, guys. Thank you so much for spending some time with me tonight. Thank you especially to everyone who sent in super chats and channel memberships. Really do appreciate you guys. I will be back tomorrow. If there's stuff going on earlier in the day, I will probably stream it. But usually I just go live at 5 p.m. So just pay attention to the channel. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you turn on notifications, all that good stuff. Great interview. I hope you will clip the entire interview so we can share it. Yes, I tried to clip it today and the clip just wasn't available yet, but I will be clipping it and probably put it on the Substack and the YouTube channel and stuff like that tomorrow. So thank you guys. Thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to bed. Good night, guys. We'll see you soon.
How are you feeling? How long have you been here?
3 months, May 17th.
And what brought you?
That's difficult to answer.
playing the piano for people has eventually resulted in your being here in the hospital?
That's difficult to answer.